Good afternoon, fellow yogis and yoginis. Once again, we have 4 questions today. I should not say once again, you see, today we have too many. And I will take the first one as the shortest one. Good afternoon to everybody and to the Venerable Bhantes here today. I'm wondering how necessary it is to have a teacher once the method of meditation has been taught. Is guidance needed to go deeper in meditation? Or could I go on a solo retreat without guidance once I have understood how to establish mindfulness? Thero Saranai.
It is not easy to give a yes or no answer, because establishment of mindfulness is the most preliminary thing, and once that is there, you can continue meditation. But when and where other refinements or purification happens, you may need some consultation, or otherwise you must have a thorough understanding about the scriptures. Book knowledge also you can compensate. It is like a map reading, but if you have a teacher, it is like a guide. So when you are traveling, each and every junction, you must read either map or consult the guide. So that is how we have to answer it. So have your own confidence, no problem. But when and where possible, try to cope up with the teacher, or meanwhile get the scriptural or book knowledge. Then only you can compensate it, because this is the only journey. For my understanding, your object is changing. All the others, you have a fixed object, you go there. But here, as and when you advance, your object is changing. Object is getting refined. Object is being otherwise. So each and every time, not only you must advance, you must see the evolution, the metamorphosis, the changes of the object. And if it is misread, you may be considering advancement as a regression, or regression as advancement. So there won't be much of a permanent damages, but wastage of time. So therefore, if possible, have a teacher. Otherwise, meanwhile, try to increase the theoretical understanding or book knowledge.
The second question today is, Venerable Bhante, Ānāpāna Sati Bhavanava. This is my 3rd consecutive retreat at this venue, and the most successful one. I was able to establish my sati on the breath on the 2nd day. Initially, I observed my in and out breath, which were quite long. After a while, I noted these breaths are getting shorter and shorter. Then the in and the out breaths became a one. I was able to maintain this for a considerable time. I'm quite sure I was not sleeping. I never experienced such a sensation in my life. I had this experience again, but for the last 2 days, I am eagerly waiting it to happen again. Walking, another topic. My favorite meditation technique is walking. I develop mindfulness within the first few minutes. Habitually, I keep looking towards my feet, because then I can maintain my sati. Is this okay? Question number 2. I walk to the train station, which is about 3 kilometers, for my work. I do so to get the much needed exercise. I think using these quiet, long walks to develop mindfulness too. However, I take small steps with slower pace and my walking meditation, which hardly gives me any exercise. How can I increase the walking pace and still maintain sati on walking. I have tried once, but I think I wasn't successful. I wish you to succeed your effort within this very life. I wish you the blessings of the Triple Gem.
To pay attention to the early part of the question, that is the sitting meditation. When you are sitting, when and where you selected one object, that is to say in-breath and out-breath, that means you are ready to sacrifice the rest of the world. Moment you face-to-face with the breath means, at that moment, your generosity is so vast, you are ready to give up the world. So it's a great achievement. And in order to make sure it, to thrive it or to establish, see the features of the breath. The nature, the characteristics, and its nature, its manners, everything, so that so much so, you are doing away with the world. So that means you are doing away with the worries pertaining to the world. But now, the worries pertaining to the breath is there. So you have to understand what a great difference. So you love the little worries, the little distraction, little aberration, the burning situation of the breath. So you have to understand it and then see the qualities, nature, manner, shape, everything of the breath. So that is why you contrast in-breath versus out-breath. More you understand the contrast, that is delimited experience or separation, discrete understanding, that means you are very established on the breath, so much so you have done away with the rest of the world. And soon what happens is, unexpected thing, the contrast between the in-breath and out-breath is merging each other. Don't expect it, I am just explaining it. When it's happening, again you are met up with another question. Am I losing my mindfulness? Am I losing my discrete understanding? Or am I losing my concentration? So if your interview is not, or your instructions are not clear, if you don't go prepared, there you get bewildered. But there, this writer is telling, when the in-breath and out-breath become merged, it is not a misleading thing, that means well instructed. So when you go there, now you get rid of world with respect to the in-breath and out-breath. Now in-breath and out-breath also fading off, slowly fading off. Then you are going to a limitless area, you are going to a frictionless area, comfort zone, and but you are losing your object. So if you are not prepared, you may think your mindfulness is losing, concentration is losing, so you do not know how to facilitate it. Instead, you may get bewildered, you may loosen, you may lose the confidence. So if you go forward, now you can see, for the first time, a meditation without an object, mindfulness without an object, concentration without an object. So this is a kind of going to a gravity-less area from the earth. So that difference, if you look at the world from the objectless mind and look at the from the world point of view, where are no objects, there is a kind of your left lobe and the right lobe of the brain, both are working now. You have different kinds of perspectives, so it takes a long time for you to familiarize it. You now look at to the nothingness from this messy world, and from the nothingness you see the world. And see, within one person, both can happen. That seasoning is a much needed one. So therefore, with this theory, if possible, go prepared, do away with the world by taking that single object of in-breath and out-breath, and let that also evolve into the first merging each other and then disappearance, and try to establish there without entertaining doubts about mindfulness and the concentration. You see, it's a heavily equilibrium, well-balanced state. And that is rather spiritual. It is rather religious state, and again you come back to the world, again go there, and that is the way a water being or fish becoming an amphibian like. Go, you learn how to live in the open air space, and you can again go to the water. So like a frog, you can develop. So that much I hope enough for the early part of the question. The second part is in walking. You feel like look at your leg, but it's a very acute angle to your neck, so it creates neck pain. So therefore, look at about 2 meters ahead of your leg. That is the best stance, way downcasted eye. Don't look at further, don't look at so close. You have to select 2 meters ahead of you. That will be. And the third part, extending your walking path from your home to the station. It's a very good thing. Don't expect so much of detail. Be aware, I am not sitting, I am not sleeping, I am not standing, I am walking. So within that understanding, anything come into your mind. Thinking can happen, sounds can happen, pain can happen, but still, as far as you know I am walking, just continue. And you may not get much of nature, the shapes, manners and kind of thing, just like in the walking meditation for the sake of walking meditation. Here improvising the journey to the station as a walking meditation. So later, still, by seasoning, you may develop a lot of skills on this way, because you are trotting the same path. It's advantageous. If you are changing the path, mind is always outwardly, but if you are doing the same, you can make use it.
Dear Venerable Bhante, then there is something written on the margin, so I will turn the paper the other way. When listened to yesterday's, writer felt like sharing my and the profound lifestyles after practicing Vipassana, if you like. This is more or less a statement. Going back to the correct way, I would like to share my recent work experience after practicing mindfulness and routine meditation. A few years ago, I got into meditation. I felt I was struggling with time, so I hated work and wanted to give it up. Thus, was looking for ways to do so. At this point in time, I lost my job and took a while to regain employment. This period of unemployment made it very clear that I needed paid work for many years to come. During this period, I did very less meditation as well. When I eventually found work, I got a fresh approach from my practice. As we know, a new job is always challenging, as one will have to adapt to new people, technologies, processes, and procedures, which make you work harder and longer. This was changed employment conditions too. However, I started waking up early, little by little. 6 became 5:45, then 5:30, then 5, 4:30, and 4 a.m. More I meditate, more mindful I became at work. I took time to pay attention to my steps when walking to the toilet. Even with continuous interruptions, managed complex tasks. More you do, more they give. When you go home, there is more work. Wife takes care of most, but still there is work. All done with a smile in the heart. Now to more profound people. Venerable U Ba Khin was the teacher of Mr. Goenka. He was made the head of a government department. Soon he made it efficient, eliminated corruption, made it a place to teach Vipassana. PM gave him more work. By the time he resigned, he became a monastic. He was the head of 6 government departments. On a normal working day, he had to visit 6 offices to work and finish every file assigned to him. So as Venerable Bhante Dhammajiva, our teacher, when he resigned to become a monastic, 6 people took the handover. Correct me if I am wrong. And was reading for a PhD. 3 decades into a monastic, he travels around the world, training people, answering the same question over and over again, day in, day out. Wakes up in the morning, hundreds of emails from people like me, asking the same question, never tired of repeating the same thing over and over again. This is the power of Buddha Desana. When one thorn is prickling, already one eliminates the second thorn with power of mindfulness. Dear Venerable Sir, I leave to you to make further comments, and may the bliss of the Triple Gem be with you.
It's a rather statement than a question. The simple example is, when the car is running, battery is fully charged. If it is stationed, the battery deplete. So therefore, many people complain about too much of work. They are lazy bones. Simply lazy bones. You don't know the power of mindfulness. Anything coming along your way is a teacher. If you reject it, you have to wait another samsara till that it happens. So much you have to wait. So therefore, when and where thing happens, it is like badminton. When the ball is in your court, you have to push it to the other side. That's it. So more you go there, it's a very colorful badminton game. Or TT, whatever may be. So simple thing is laziness. If you take this as a challenge, as the Zen saying goes, if not now, when? If not me, who? If not here, where? So if you find that if I am not here, there is another assistant, he is the devil. He is the Satan. If you find another place, it is hell. And the time is crucified. So now only, so therefore, the people understand that day by day when they get mobilized, the term is mobilized, you see Dhamma is such a thing, make you more potential with so much. So therefore, Uba King was introduced to me by Venerable Dhammika, and he told, otherwise, Western countries says Buddhist countries are poor countries, because they think by not working, they become more mindful. So they make excuses not to work. But he told, he also agreed. See the Thailand, see Burma, see Sri Lanka. All the countries are very poor countries. But he told, exceptionally, Uba King was working as a head of the department for 6 departments, and he showed it, and at the end, he went into the monastic life, and the Goenka came, and now you see how much people are getting benefited. So therefore, don't be lazy bones. So work to the food that you are eating, at least. And therefore, you may see it's a potential. So therefore, it is a kind of a appraisal or kind of a appreciation. I also agree with you. So we will go to the Sinhalese questions now. One more, sorry.
Dear Bhante, this question is regarding Ānāpānasati meditation. The primary object I am using is in and out breath. However, I could not observe hot or chill feeling or fading of individual breaths, inside brackets, in, out. Around 5 or 6 sessions prior, I could identify in and out breath. After 8 or 10 breaths, it faded away. Then I faced empty or fixed space. No thoughts came. Sometimes I hear songs I love when empty or fixed space vanish. I am again on the breath. Sometimes I was afraid that I could not come out of from empty or the fixed space. The fixed space can be described as looking at a picture. However, during the last 3 sessions, the breath did not fade away. I completed 1 session just observing breath. After that, I had severe heaviness of the head. I started practicing Ānāpānasati after coming to this retreat. During both meditation sessions of today, I was observing the breath. The mind went to other thoughts. Emptiness or sleeping, cannot define exactly. And back to breath. Several times. Could you please let me know whether I am using the correct methodology or instructions to correct and instructions to go forward with the meditation? Sometimes I go to spaces which cannot be identified, whether empty space, sleep or other, inside brackets, cannot remember. Could you please let me know how to differentiate sleep from others? I was ready to sleep but did not succeed. Wish you the blessings of the Triple Gem.
2 times it has been mentioned, that is going to a place where very difficult to demarcate with the sleeping or emptiness or the objects. And again to the end of the essay also the same thing highlighted. So that's the exact thing I also wanted to pinpoint. This is the point where you lose the margin, concept and reality. Is this sleepiness and light thoughts and this thing is just a concept, or is it a substantial reality? So under such circumstances, the utter magical power of the mind, the consciousness is to demarcate them, recognize them, cognize them, or refine them. So when and where things are refined, defined or reification, consciousness gets thriving. So the Buddha leading us to go to the volatile situation, you can demarcate it and try to keep mind as much as possible without labeling. Whenever there is no labeling, no tension. Tension comes with labeling, separation or sectarianism. The mind, the consciousness is the main culprit, split and rule. Everything coming from the same jam. Emptiness, thoughts or sleepiness, everything. So let that be. Don't try to refine. The moment you define, you get committed. Then you have to maintain it. Then the frustration. So let them be. That's a point where your perception is losing the grip. Moment the perception loses the grip, consciousness also loses the grip. So therefore, by labeling only, by naming only, by demarcating only, by delimiting only, we create problems. We are utter human. We demarcate male and female. We demarcate rich and the poor. We demarcate the learned and unlearned. And then you see the problem. The moment you demarcate, you lose humanity. Whenever you try to see, yes, there are some changes, but we are human, hardly you can see a difference between male and female. But it has become so encroached our mind. Women fight for their liberation. Male for them. What a nonsense. So therefore, when and where mind goes to this puddle situation or volatile situation, don't get committed. Moment you separate, the tension starts. The split and rule problem happens. So therefore, see the political agenda of the consciousness. When and where it becomes unclear, consciousness becomes uneasy. Come and see whether it's sleepiness or this thing or thought or mind. Ultimately, you will see everything coming from the same source. Pictures or visual objects, sounds, smell, thoughts, taste, touch, everything is nothing but just energy. It is manifested and demarcated, then only problems start. So reduce back to the primordial form, the fetal form, without demarcation, you see your mind is so young. That is what you call rejuvenation of your mind. You don't know whether you are sleeping or not. I am not asking you to sleep, but I am telling fully be vigilant, but don't buy the idea of the consciousness to demarcate. Just give a chance without delimiting them, observe them. So much so it is adventurous. So much so it's a hobby. Meditation is not regimentation. Moment you demarcate, it becomes a regimentation. Then frustration starts. So therefore the Buddha can lead into that volatile situation, but your crafty mind, your consciousness, make a hell out of it by demarcating. So take the challenge, go prepared. When and everything become puddled, when everything become muddled, everything become volatile, let it be like that. That force the mind, each and every one of us, before the age 6. So we are lovable people. No problem. Moment you demarcate, problem happens. So therefore, on an experimental basis, don't try to discrete. Just be there and see, so much so, you are not aging. You are not... the term for aging is senility. As far as things are not defined, not senility. You rejuvenate. Moment you define, then you caught up in time. So therefore, let that be. I hope my words will give some clarity. But anyway, it is a trial and error you have to do. And then you see meditation, how much it is making you rejuvenate. Finished? So we'll go for Sinhala.